Aquarius, and welcome to your tarot reading for the month of November. As I was looking at all of the cards, not just yours, but for all of the zodiac signs, once again there was a sense almost of deja vu, almost of, yeah, I know what's going on here. And there's patterns there's cards that you don't see that often that keep coming out now. So definitely there are energies affecting us all. But I got the impression that this month in particular, they're affecting us in quite personal ways, as opposed to us realising that these are energies that are out there in the universe that we're all affected by. And I think you're no exception to that. The overall energy is that of love and compassion. We have the Queen of Cups. And that runs throughout it. In the past we have the Lovers card, so it suggests that in the past there was a very important love to you. I'll return to that. Right now there is the Justice card. Now, to get so many Justice cards across signs, there is something definitely going on in the world. We've also got, if you look above, what leads to the outcome is the Wheel of Fortune. We're getting justice from Wheel of Fortune so often at the moment. So it's saying to me that a cycle is coming to an end and a new one beginning. Well, I think the new one's already begun, if I'm honest with you. But a cycle has come to an end, a new one has begun. And with that has come justice. It could be courts, it could be within this realm. It doesn't normally mean karmic justice, but I've got the feeling that it could be more of a karmic justice. I mean, maybe it's karmic justice played out through the material world, through the courts or something like that. But those who've been involved in betrayal and cheating, they're getting their comeuppance. You don't need to worry about it. But there is more betrayal here, or is it? It's disagreements. And I think it comes about because you're not discussing things with others well enough. I don't think it's a major problem. So maybe the justice has got nothing to do with that. And we're all on edge though, aren't we? We all know we've been deceived. We all know we've been lied to. We all know we've been cheated. And we're on edge that everybody's out to do that to us. To a certain degree, the world has changed a bit in that way, hasn't it? But that's what's being swept aside. I'm going to go to the outcome before I talk about this Ten of Swords. The outcome is the the Knight of Swords. Brave, bold and fearless. So it's a great outcome, things have changed, a new cycle's begun. As a result you're bold, as a result you're brave, and you're full of love. What could be better? Well, there is this card that changes it, the Ten of Swords. Stabbed in the back, a bitter betrayal. Is this related to the Five of Wands? I think it probably is. I think it's probably in the eye of the beholder. If you remember, I said we're on edge, thinking we're going to be betrayed. And I think if you see this as a betrayal, then it will derail you. But if you don't, maybe you can take it in your stride. Let us see. A very interesting spread. So do stick with me to interpret it, Aquarius. And the overall energy is this Queen of Cups. And this runs throughout the entire reading. I mean, she is an absolutely lovely queen. I call her the Queen of Love. But it's not just love. It's compassion. It's understanding. Emotions, understanding her emotions, but those of others. This is indeed, I've said that the world is changing, a new world has begun. This is how the world is changing. So you're on the right side of it, having this energy here. The weakness of this queen is she does tend to get exploited a little, taken for a ride. But the universe appears to have been telling me, not necessarily for you, Aquarius, but across a number of signs, that comes with the turf. We have to accept a degree of being used, because we all need to open our hearts and be a little less suspicious, a little bit more open. And so sometimes you will be taken for a ride, but it's just about saying, oh well, that's life. Now in the past we have the Lovers card. So the past was, it's as it says, the past was about love. Given the other cards, are you betrayed in love? Does a love come to an end? I think there's a strong possibility that it does. But I also feel that maybe it needed to come to an end. That it wasn't good. The universe is doing this an awful lot now. It's intervening in ways that maybe not ways that we want to happen, but are very much within our best interest. So I don't know if I'm right on it. We'll keep going and see, but certainly it's love in the past that is somehow important to the energies in this reading. Now, one of these cards that's cropping up an awful lot. So it's an energy that must be important right now. Is this Justice card? Well, we get justice and we do get judgment. Judgment tends to be more like a karmic judgment, and justice tends to be more of this material world. But the fact that it's cropping up for so many signs right now suggests to me that there is a karmic element to this justice. So even though it might even be court cases, it might even go through, formal mechanisms of the rule of law, that it is an energy from the universe. And what I think is happening is that I think almost all of us have recognised how we've been cheated, lied to, manipulated by the greedy, and they are going to be punished. I think the punishment is karmic, but of course there have been a few court cases already. A few people have already been caught out. So, and there's more to come, no doubt. But I think overall it is a karmic thing that's going on. And it's because the old era, the era of rugged individualism, the era of greed, the era of looking after oneself and not caring about others has come to an end. So one would expect this sort of change, and I believe that's happening. I wonder if your former lover is caught up in it. I wonder, because it immediately follows the past, which was the Lover card, and the present is this Justice card. So it could be that, couldn't it? Future, we have disagreements. These are normally the sort of disagreements that are easily resolved. People pulling in different directions because you've not sat down and talked through what people want. If it's related to justice, and if it's related to this past love, maybe it's a little bit more intractable. Because even if you do understand each other's perspectives, you can't agree on it. I honestly don't know. There is another card that does suggest a degree of deception, that maybe this card could be more tragic than it on the face of it seems. So I'm not sure, but also maybe what this card is telling me is, however bad some events may turn out to be, it's more about your perceptions of them. And if you approach them as learning, such as, if you do lose a love through this justice, if you see that as learning, that it was meant to happen, that they weren't any good for you and the universe has intervened to help you, the same could be true of these disputes. So it could simply be about your perceptions, I'm not sure. Now, maybe a few months ago, or certainly a year ago, had I had this spread of cards, I'd be getting much more excited and concerned and animated about them. But it's all put into perspective in as much as we've got this Wheel of Fortune here. So it's telling us what we already know, that a cycle has ended and a new one's begun, and with it should come luck. And if we can see life in terms of these cycles and contextualise it in that way, then nothing seems so important, does it? This leads to the outcome. So if we can grasp the new and exciting opportunities there are, then we will be met with a degree of luck. Things will go well for us. Whereas if we cling on to the past and don't change our ways, then we'll find it much more difficult. And I think that's a message that goes through a number of zodiac signs right now. So, as I say, because of this card, I'm less concerned about the other cards. Or juxtapose this with the Queen of Cups, and I would say that things seem to be going in the right direction for you. Now, one of those cards that would normally concern me is this Ten of Swords. But given its position and what else I've said, I'm not so concerned. I mean, let's face it, you are stabbed in the back. It's a bitter ending because you're stabbed in the back. You're betrayed. And it would change everything if you dwelt on it. But I don't think you do. I think you take it in your stride. And is it related to the lovers? Is this the end of the love? Are you betrayed by a lover? Was that what the argument was about? Is it also related to justice? And I think all of those things are probably true. And I think you're somewhat stoical about it because of it. I think you're not so fazed by it. You realise it's actually for your best interest. It might not feel it as it happens, because it will be. You won't be nice. But I think you just take a stoical approach to it and say, yeah, this is what the universe intends for me, and there's a good reason for it. I think we need to return to it, because I might have got it wrong, but, that's how I feel about it. And, you see, I think the outcome's a good outcome. The Knight of Swords. He's brave, he's bold, he's fearless. Maybe a little too fast at times, but, this is someone with direction. This is somebody that knows where they're going. This is somebody that got their head sorted. And after all the changes, I'd say it's a very welcome energy to have here. It's a very good energy to have as an outcome. And if you remember, it comes about as the Wheel of Fortune. So this is you embracing the new cycle and probably getting it right. So I see this card very positively. Whereas the last card, although it changes this, if you're stabbed in the back, I think it's only if you dwell on it, only if you see it in that way, will it knock you off course. And your course looks to be a very good course. So I think we need some clarity, but I think the picture is emerging here. Now, if we can understand this Ten of Swords, this energy being stabbed in the back, things fall into place. And my God, the first card we get is this Justice card. So it is definitely related to this justice. Whether or not it's related to your lover, I don't know, but it's definitely related to justice. It's also, blow me down, related to the Wheel of Fortune. So it's a necessary change. I mean, what this is all pointing to is, to a certain degree, we're talking of fate here. It doesn't matter whether you do the right thing or not, because the universe is going to do it for you. And we end up with the Empress. This is you in your power. This is you. I mean, it might be an even better outcome than a Knight, but no. Let's go with a Knight. The Empress, you know, I mean, she's wonderful. Absolutely at home with nature, in tune with nature. Loves the best things in life, not only for herself but everybody else. Understands her subconscious, but the subconscious of everybody else. So it does look like this was necessary. So we've got another Justice card. Now, if you remember, I did say, was this justice related to the lovers? Probably. We don't know for certain, but it's probably related to this, what looks like a past love now. Is it related to that disagreement? Almost certainly. Because it's now related to this betrayal. So there's something in your life that needs removing, and it's to do with you gaining justice. Now, as I say, it's justice, not judgment. Even though I feel it's karmic, it could manifest itself in a way whereby they are actually brought to justice. Or it could simply be, you know, karmic, that they get their comeuppance. But somebody who has wronged you, I believe, is getting their comeuppance. Remember, I linked justice to the Wheel of Fortune because I said an old cycle has come to an end. It's already happened. And a new one has begun. And as a result of that, those who wronged in the old cycle are being brought to justice, which is why I think it's more like judgment, a sort of karmic card. But the cards have been quite, well, not always. Normally the cards have been showing justice, not judgment. And I think it's because some at least of this justice will manifest itself in the material world. It won't simply be people, I don't know, well, even taking ill is material. It won't simply be people are sad as a result of karma. It's going to be more material, something you can see and feel more than that. So that's what's happening. I did have this thought that it's you who've done wrong, and I mean it still could be, that still could be the case. But I think you've been wronged. I don't think it's you who've done wrong. But if you have done wrong, you've got nothing to fear. It'll be firm. It'll be fair. But it will be fair. It'll be what you deserve. And if you accept it, you know, if you accept you've done wrong and you deserve it, then that's an end to it, and you'll feel much better afterwards. Now, the outcome, if you don't allow this being stabbed in the back to get to you, I mean, I suppose it could be, you know, I've said if it's you wrong, you simply accepting the justice and not, you know, not getting uptight over it. Or, alternately, and I think it's much more likely, that you recognise this justice has a silver lining. It's something from the universe that's intended to help you. But if that doesn't, you know, if you don't follow it, then we have the Knight, brave, bold, and probably going at a pace. But I'd say this outcome is even better, and that's the Empress. And the Empress is, well, she's full of love. She's the Earth Mother. She's at home and in touch with nature. She's in touch with her own emotions and those of others, her subconscious and those of others. She wants the best in life, not only for herself, but everyone else. And it seems to me that that's very in fitting with the way the world's changing. If you remember, we had the Queen of Cups, and I said, that's exactly how you need to be in the future. Well, so is the Empress. So I suppose what I'm saying is I don't think it matters either way. The universe is going to intervene. You know, we're talking of major issues here. Let me be very clear. Cycles ending, new ones beginning, justice and stabbed in the back. You know, these aren't minor; they're major. But I'm not getting all excited, and I don't think neither do you, because you understand they're major, and you're sort of saying, well, yeah, that is life, and that's so true. What an interesting set of energies. Even though it may all seem entirely personal to you, it's all related to global events. And the global event is that a paradigm, a cycle has ended and a new one has already begun. And I think you're aware of that. But with the ending of the old cycle came justice. Those who've cheated, those who've deceived, those who've manipulated are going to get their comeuppance. I'm certain it's karmic. I'm certain it's from God or the universe or Allah, whatever you want to call it. I'm certain that's where it comes from. And yeah, they're going to get their comeuppance. You don't need to do anything. It may, because it's the justice card rather than the judgment, it may manifest itself in formal justice, or certainly very much in the material world. But I'm certain there's more to it than that. I'm certain it's more of a judgment card. And you're already embracing how you need to be for the future. You're full of love, you're full of compassion, you understand your emotions, your subconscious, and the emotions and subconscious of others. Maybe prone to being taken for a ride by people, but again, the universe is saying that's what they want from you. Unfortunately, I think somebody does take you for a ride. I think they could be a lover, or, someone you love. And there's disagreement for sure. And maybe that disagreement could be readily resolved, but I think it's actually related to justice. And I think it's also that there is betrayal, quite a bitter betrayal. Probably this love-ing relationship comes to an end. But it's in your best interest. It's what needs to happen, to be perfectly honest. And to be honest, it doesn't matter whether you get uptight about it or or go with the flow. If you go with the flow, you'll emerge brave, bold, fearless, up for anything, maybe rushing a little bit. If not, I think you'll be even more in touch with how you need to be. And that is in touch with nature, in touch with your feminine side. A lover of good things, but wanting it for everybody. Understanding your emotions, your subconscious, but the emotions of subconscious of others. So either way, I think it's good. I mean, these are big issues. It will be tumultuous, but you can tell from my voice, I'm not getting excited by it, and I don't think, nor do you. You know they're big issues, you know they're big things, but you're actually taking it in the stride and you're doing the right thing. So, well done, Aquarius.